Welcome to the class. Today class is about factors affecting the position of UV visible bands. In this class, I would like to discuss about the UV visible spectra of carbonyl compounds, alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, aromatic compounds, effect of solvent on absorption, geometrical isomerism on absorption, and acid base effects. Before going into in detail study, let we recollect the previous concept, that is shift of absorption towards higher wavelength side. We call the shift as bathochromic shift. Shift of absorption maximum towards a lower lambda side, that is lower wavelength side, we call the shift as hypsochromic shift. We call red shift also for bathochromic shift. So, bathochromic shift or red shift, hypsochromic shift or blue shift. If the intensity maximum increases, then we call the shift as hyperchromic shift. If the intensity maximum decreases, then we call the shift as hypochromic shift. One thing is very clear here, that is whenever we find bathochromic shift, in addition to bathochromic shift, there must be the observance of hyperchromic shift also. That means if there is increase in the lambda, there must be the increase in the epsilon also. When the wavelength is increasing towards the higher value side, then the absorption intensity may also increases. That means bathochromic shift is in combination with hyperchromic shift. Same is applicable for hypsochromic shift. Hypsochromic shift is the decrease in the wavelength of the absorption band. Whenever we find decrease in the wavelength of absorption, there must be the observance of hypochromic shift also, because they are in combination. Hypsochromic shift will be in combination with hyperchromic shift. Decrease in the wavelength, there must be decrease in the intensity also, simply like this. If suppose absorption maximum, so this is the absorption curve of a compound. If at all the polarity or whatever the factor you are changing, on changing some factor, if you observe the absorption curve like this, so this is before and this is after. So, before you are finding that this is the lambda, because lambda values are taken on x direction, and this is epsilon. See here, this is the lambda. After the reaction or after we are taken the absorption curve and measuring the lambda value, so after the condition we are finding the increase in the lambda. So, as the increase in lambda value we are observing, this shift we are calling as bathochromic shift. Now, let us see the combination of hyperchromic shift also. See here, the absorption intensity, if you measure, this will be the absorption intensity in prior case. After the reaction condition, if you note the absorption intensity, so you find that increase in the absorption intensity. That means whenever you are finding absorption maximum, that is wavelength increase, there must be the increase in the intensity of the shift also. So, bathochromic shift will be in combination with hyperchromic shift. Same will be reverse. If suppose this is the first case and this is the second case, so decrease in the lambda. So, from the higher value to lower value, as the lambda value decreases, then what about the epsilon? So, this is the prior case, epsilon is also decreases from higher to lower. So, you are finding hypsochromic shift as well as hypochromic shift. Okay, now let me move to next slide. So, the main concept in the today's lecture is factors affecting the position of UV visible bands. Here the main factors are conjugation and steric effect and effect of solvent, effect of sample pH, and last one is effect of temperature on UV visible bands, on the shifting of position of UV visible bands. Now let us discuss one by one in detail. The first one is conjugation. So what it mean by conjugation? When the double bond is adjacent to a single bond which is connected by a double bond, then this system we called as conjugation. If suppose I am writing like this, so here you are having one double bond and here you are having one double bond. The two double bonds are not connected by a single bond. Okay, so here double bond is connected by a single bond is connected by another single bond. Now this single bond is connected by pi bond. That means those two bonds are not participating in conjugation. They are isolated double bonds. Even though the system has two double bonds, they are not present in conjugation. But here the system contains two double bonds and they are present in conjugation. Now let us discuss the effect of conjugation on the UV visible spectra. Generally, if suppose you are considering a non-conjugated system and conjugated system, a non-conjugated system with pi electrons and conjugated system with pi electrons, absorption maxima is shifted to a larger wavelength or shorter frequency, because wavelength and frequency both are inversely proportional to each other. When the maximum absorption maxima is shifted to larger wavelength or shorter frequency, if two or more chromophores are in conjugation. Suppose I am taking a simple ethylene molecule. Ethylene is a simple chromophore. Ethylene consists of one sigma bond and one pi bond. So how many electrons are present in pi orbital, pi bonding orbital? Totally 2 electrons. So the pi bonding orbital will have 2 electrons in the ethylene. If suppose certain amount of UV radiation incident on the molecule, now this is the HOMO, it is highly occupied molecular orbital for ethylene molecule, and this is the LUMO, pi star is the LUMO. Whenever the UV radiation incident on the molecule which consists of HOMO, highly occupied molecular orbital consisting of electrons, can be excited to LUMO. So this excitation is known as absorption due to transition of electrons from pi orbital to pi star orbital. So this is the energy gap between pi and pi star. Generally the absorption can be taken place at about 180 nanometers. Now if suppose the system, ethylene system is converted to a conjugated system, that is, if suppose I am connecting with another ethylenic double bond like this. So this is the non-conjugated system, absorption spectrum or absorption details, and this is a 1,3-butadiene. So, now this 1,3-butadiene is in conjugation. You are having 2 ethylenic double bonds. So, as 2 ethylenic double bonds are present, you are having totally 4 molecular orbitals, pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 star and pi 4 star. Here for this case, pi 2 is the HOMO, that is highly occupied molecular orbital, and LUMO is pi 3 star. Okay, so that is why the energy gap must be decreased for the case of HOMO to LUMO whenever the conjugation increases. See here, the energy gap must be high. As the energy gap is high, what about the wavelength? Energy and wavelength both are inversely proportional to each other. Energy is more, lambda will be less. Of course, when we compare these two systems, here energy is more and here energy is less. Lesser energy means energy factor is decreasing here. As energy factor is decreasing, then what about the wavelength factor? Energy decreasing, wavelength factor must be increases. That means on increasing the conjugation, UV absorption must be shifts to longer wavelength from 180 nanometer to greater than 180 nanometer. Maybe it is 225 nanometer or 250 nanometer, depending upon the substituents present on the conjugated system. Now, let we move to next slide. Yes, here I am showing the clear picture of HOMO and LUMO of 1,3-butadiene. So, here I am considering 1,3-butadiene. For 1,3-butadiene, there is a possibility of totally 4 molecular orbitals, psi 1, psi 2, psi 3 star and psi 4 star. Generally, for ethylene, we are finding only pi orbital and pi star orbital. There is only excitation takes place from HOMO to LUMO. If at all we are converting the ethylene to 1,3-butadiene. Now, let us see the transition possibilities. Here we are having 2 ethylenic double bonds. 2 ethylenic double bond means 2 pi electrons, 2 pi bonding electrons. Now, these 2 pi bonding electrons will be accommodated as in combination. Psi 1 will have 1 pi bonding electron, psi 2 will have another pi bonding electrons. So, totally 4 pi bonding electrons. Psi 1 accommodates 1 pi bonding electron, psi 2 accommodates another pi bonding electron. So, totally 4 molecular orbitals will result because due to the combination of atomic orbitals. So, yes, when this is positive, positive, positive and positive, there is no node at all. This is the psi 1 molecular orbital. For the case of psi 2 molecular orbital, there must be one node. For the case of psi 3 star, there must be 2 nodes. For the case of psi 4 star, there is a presence of 3 nodes. And the availability of electrons must be present in psi 1 and psi 2. Now, this psi 2 is known as HOMO and LUMO is psi 3 star. So, according to UV visible spectroscopy, when the UV visible radiation incident on the psi 2 molecular orbital, because psi 2 is of in higher energy. So, this will be these electrons will possibly excited to next energy level because HOMO is psi 2. So whenever the UV radiation interacts with the molecule, a Psi2 which is having the electrons can be excited to LUMO orbital. Now you see here before the conjugation or before the combination of ethylenic double bond, the pi to pi star transition will have this much energy separation. So this is the energy separation delta E. And for the case of conjugation, here you are finding this is the electronic transition from psi 2 to psi 3 star. This is also pi to pi star transition. So from this case to this case, what you are finding? You are finding the decrease in energy. Simply this is delta E1 and this is delta E2. What about delta E1 and delta E2? Delta E1 is greater than delta E2. Now we are considering about delta E2. Delta E2 is decreasing. Then what about lambda 2? Lambda 2 must have higher energy. That means on conjugation the wavelength of particular absorption will increases towards the longer value side. That means you are finding the bathochromic shift, increase in the wavelength, or you find red shift. Okay. So on conjugation you are finding the bathochromic shift or red shift. Here I am taking few more examples and just see this. So here ethylene I am taking and then converting into butadiene and then hexatriene. For the case of ethylene, only one pi bond is present. For the case of butadiene, you are having two pi bonds, they are in conjugation. For the case of hexatriene, you are finding three double bonds, they are in conjugation. So from the ethylene to hexatriene, what you are finding? You are finding the extension of conjugation. Though the conjugation is extended, what about the lambda max values? So for ethylene you are finding 175 nanometer. For butadiene 217 nanometer. For hexatriene you are finding 258 nanometer. That means on increasing the conjugation, the lambda max value will also increases to higher value side. That is, we are finding bathochromic shift because the energy gap must be decreases. As the energy gap decreases, lambda value must be increases. So that's why you are finding bathochromic shift on the effect, that is conjugation. Here I am showing the absorption peaks also. So it is important to note that the conjugation of two chromophores not only increases the lambda max but also increases the intensity. So this one I already explained in the first slide, because when the lambda max increases, its epsilon, that is absorption intensity, will also increases. See here I am taken one unsaturated system, that it is CH3 CH double bond CH n times CH3. If you substitute at the place of n 3 or 4 or 5, then you will get the spectrum like this. For the substitution of 3, that means CH double bond CH on 3 times, then the absorption spectrum must be given in green color. See here, the green color spectrum indicates the substitution of 3 at this place. If suppose you substitute 4 here, substituting 4 means you are extending the conjugation. On extending the conjugation, you are getting the absorption peak for n is equal to 4. Here n is equal to 4 indicates the number of conjugated double bonds. For the 4 conjugated double bonds, you will get the pink color peak. If suppose you substitute 5, then for the system containing 5 conjugated double bonds, you are finding the absorption peak. That means on increasing the number of double bonds present in the system, you are finding the increase in lambda max. So, increase in lambda max. By the increase in the lambda max, you are finding the increase in the intensity also. So, as the lambda max increases, there must be the increase of epsilon also. Okay. So, this is a bathochromic shift in combination with the hyperchromic shift. Yes, now here I am taking alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. So, alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound means, now this is an alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound which consists of ethylenic double bond as well as carbonyl bond. So, ethylenic double bond we are having a pi electrons. In the carbonyl double bond also we are having pi electrons. So, that there is a presence of pi 1, pi 2, pi 3 star and pi 4 star molecular orbitals. So, 2 pi bonding electrons are present. One will be accommodated at pi 1 and the another will be accommodated pi 2. Both are bonding molecular orbitals. Now, whenever you are passing a certain amount of radiation onto the molecule, then the electrons present in HOMO can be excited to LUMO. Okay, see here, before excitation, this will be the N2 pi star transition. The energy gap is less. After the conjugation, you are having N2 pi star transition, energy gap is increasing. Okay, as the energy gap is increasing, then the lambda max must be decreases, because energy increases, lambda decreases. And before the effect, the pi to pi star transition must have higher delta value, okay, higher energy gap. After the conjugation, if you find a pi to pi star transition must be lowered. So, here you are having decrease in the energy gap. So, that is, if suppose this is delta E1 and this is delta E2, as delta E2 is decreasing, what about lambda? Lambda must be increases. That means, for the case of alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, N2 pi star transitions will be decreases, N2 pi star will be decreases and pi to pi star transitions will increases. So, for the case of earlier example, for alkenes only one effect, pi to pi star transitions will go to increase in the wavelength side. So, that is why we call the shift as bathochromic shift. For here, carbonyl compound consists of N2 pi star transition as well as pi to pi star transition. So, there is a possibility of decrease in the N2 pi star transitions and increase in the pi to pi star transitions. For the case of N2 pi star, we observe hypsochromic shift. For the case of pi to pi star transitions, we observe bathochromic shift. Okay? Yes. Now, we are moving to next slide. The steric effect. So, what must be the steric effect on the UV absorption? So, here I am taking a simple geometrical isomers. This is stilbene which is having trans isomer and cis isomer. See here, a trans stilbene which is having two bulky groups, they are far apart to each other. As the bulky groups are far apart to each other, they cannot influence on the pi bonding electrons. So that's why it will give the lambda max at 295 nanometer with the intensity 27,000 epsilon. If the system is converted to cis, then the bulky groups, these phenyl groups are cis to each other. When they are cis to each other, due to the electronic repulsions, and the pi bonded electrons are influenced by these bulky groups, so the energy gap must be increases. As the energy gap increases, lambda must be decreases. So for trans Stilbene we are finding high amount of lambda max. For cis Stilbene we are finding low amount of lambda max. That means for the case of any geometrical isomer which is present in trans form will exhibit higher lambda max and cis form will exhibit lower lambda max. This is due to steric hindrance or steric effect. So here I am taking the example Stilbene. If you want to investigate on the compound cinnamic acid, so here I am writing cinnamic acid. So cinnamic acid will also exhibit the same property. Here I am writing the cis form of cinnamic acid. Cis form of cinnamic acid will also give lower lambda max value than compared to trans form. Trans form of cinnamic acid will exhibit higher lambda max due to the bulkier groups are far apart to each other. So that's why you will have higher lambda max, as in the case of Stilbene, trans Stilbene. Trans cinnamic acid also will have higher lambda max. For the case of cis cinnamic acid, there must be the decrease in the lambda max due to the influence of bulkier groups. They are near to each other, which are in cis orientation. So due to the steric effect, we find the clear conclusion that all the cis isomers will exhibit low lambda max value, all the trans isomers will exhibit high lambda max values. Now you see the steric effect in biphenyls also. Biphenyl is the system which consists of two aryl rings which are connected by a single bond. As the two aryl rings are connected by a single bond, there must be the possibility of free rotation. So there is a free rotation possibility is present. Due to the free rotation possibility, they are not in plane. Okay, they are not in plane. The one ring is exactly 45 degrees to another ring. So see here, there is no planarity between the two rings. One is in one plane, another ring is present in another plane. If you note the angle of the two rings, the angle must be 45 degrees. And consider the biphenyl. For the case of biphenyl, the lambda max will be observed at 250 nanometers. So if suppose this is the biphenyl system, it will be exhibit the lambda max at 250 nanometer. If there is any substitution at the second place, if you substitute by a methyl group, due to the presence of methyl group which is having electrons, sigma bonding electrons, they are very near to the pi bonding system of ring. So that's why electronic repulsions can takes place. Due to the repulsions, there must be the requirement of high energy. As energy is required high, the lambda max must be decreases. So the biphenyl system to substituted biphenyl system. So here I am substituting at second position. If you substitute at another position 2,2 system, that means you are increasing the steric hindrance. As increasing the steric hindrance, then what must be the lambda max? The lambda max must be decreases. So steric hindrance will always decreases the lambda max. That means you are finding the hypsochromic shift. Due to the presence of steric effect, you find hypsochromic shift in the UV visible spectra. Now let we come to effect of solvent. So what will be the effect of solvent? Generally in UV visible spectroscopy, we will consider mainly some solvents. They are water, ethanol, and N-hexane. These are the most commonly used solvents because they are transparent towards the UV region. They will not give the absorption spectra of their own compounds. So that's why they will be selected as solvents for the case of UV visible spectroscopy. They all give the absorption spectra at about 170 to 180 nanometer, almost 174 nanometer. So they must be taken as solvents. Among these solvents, water and ethanol are polar solvents and N-hexane is non-polar solvent. So this is the non-polar solvent. Now let us see the effect of solvent on the UV visible spectra. For that, here I am considering just alkene system, that is unsaturated system that contain non-polar double bonds. So as double bond is present, there must be the consideration of pi to pi star transitions. So pi to pi star transition. See here the spectrum is taken, or here the observance is taken without the solvent. There is no solvent interaction. No solvent interaction means the solvent must have taken here is a non-polar solvent, that is N-hexane. Simply I am writing NH. When the compound is investigated under the presence of N-hexane, you will find the pi to pi star transition. If suppose you change the solvent, the system is same and you are changing the solvent, non-polar solvent to polar solvent, it may be water or ethanol. Due to the substitution of solvent, what is happening here? Here you are finding the decrease in the pi to pi star transition. So energy gap is decreasing. As the energy gap is decreasing, what about the wavelength? Wavelength must be increases. That means you are finding here bathochromic shift or red shift. So due to the influence of polar solvent on pi to pi star transition, you will find bathochromic shift or simply red shift. Okay, for the case of ethylene, for the case of benzene, you will find the same observation. Okay, if you substitute the solvent, you are finding the red shift in the pi to pi star transition. This is for the case of alkenes, that is a non-polar unsaturated compound. Now let me consider polar unsaturated compounds. Polar unsaturated compounds are nothing but simply carbonyl compounds. Now let me discuss the transitions that are taken place in the case of carbonyl compounds due to the influence of solvent. See here, without solvent interaction means if suppose you are taking simply non-polar solvent N-hexane if you take. Okay. Now, if at all you are changing the place of solvent by polar solvent, simply I am writing P here. P here indicates the polar solvent. Due to the interaction of polar solvent with the polar molecule, because as we know that the compound is a polar molecule, due to the development of dipoles on the compound. In the earlier example, we are taken non-polar unsaturated compound. So, that is why there is not much effect. But here in this case, we are considering polar molecule and treating this polar molecule with polar solvent. So, that is why here the effect must be high. And the polar solvent will majorly affect the non-bonding electrons. So, the non-bonding electrons that are present on the heteroatom will be greatly influenced by the polar solvent, so that the energy must be decreased. So, the extent of effect towards the n-bonding electrons, that is non-bonding electrons, will be greater to polar solvent. Here I am giving the stability order also. The effect of polar solvent towards N is greater. Then next pi star, and next follow pi orbital. Almost pi orbital will not that much influenced by the polar solvent, majorly affected by non-bonding electrons, and the next case will be pi star orbital containing electrons, and the least one must be pi, because there must be polar interactions, polar compound with polar solvent. Okay. See here, there must be major decrease in the N, that is a non-bonding electron, then next somewhat lesser extent, and here so much less. This is due to the interaction of polar solvent with the polar compound. Now, yes. Now, let us know the N to pi star transitions and pi to pi star transitions also here. For this case, here if you see, this is the N to pi star transition without solvent interaction, or if the solvent here taken as non-polar solvent. If suppose you are substituting the polar solvent, then you are finding the increase in the energy gap, because the non-bonding electrons are decreased its energy due to the influence with polar solvent. So, that means energy gap must be increases. As the energy gap increases, then the lambda must be decreases. That means N to pi star transition will be decreases. For the case of pi to pi star, you see here, this is the pi to pi star transition. After the influence of polar solvent, you are finding decrease in the energy gap of pi star, pi to pi star. Here you are having high energy gap, and here you are finding low energy gap. As the energy gap is lowering, then the pi to pi star transitions will be increased for the case of carbonyl compounds. That means pi to pi star transitions will experience bathochromic shift, N to pi star transitions will experience hypsochromic shift due to the influence of polar solvent. This is due to the hydrogen bonding present between the non-bonding electrons and the polar solvent. If suppose water you are taking, water which consists of the structure. This is the structure. Now this non-bonding electrons will influence and forming a bond between hydrogen. So here you are finding a hydrogen bonding. Two heteroatoms are flanked between hydrogen. So here you are finding hydrogen bonding. So that due to this hydrogen bonding, non-bonding electrons are not freely available. Okay, with the polar solvent they are greatly influenced. So that's why the energy requirement is high. As the energy requirement is high, lambda must be low. Lambda is decreasing means it must be hypsochromic shift or blue shift. So this is the very important point. For the case of carbonyl compounds, N to pi star transitions will observe hypsochromic shift and pi to pi star transitions are exhibiting bathochromic shift. This is the clear cut point due to the influence of polar solvent with the carbonyl compounds. Now let me see the effect of sample pH. Now here I am taking the example phenol. Phenol is weakly acidic compound. So as it is acidic one, its pH must be observed at a range of 5 to 6. If at all base is treated with phenol is treated with base can abstract the proton. As it is acidic, it can be easily remove the proton. Due to that, there is a formation of phenoxide ion. So as phenoxide ion is involved in the reaction, phenoxide ion which is bearing negative charge on oxygen will involve in the resonance form, so that there is a possibility of increase in the conjugation. So in the prior case and after the case, you are finding the increase in the extent of conjugation because of resonance. So that's why due to increase in conjugation, we already know the point, that is on increase the conjugation, the lambda max must be increases. That means you will experience bathochromic shift. That means the conversion of phenol to sodium phenoxide or just phenoxide, you will experience the increase in the lambda max value. Okay, and one more observation finding here is phenol is acidic one. Treating the acid with base, you are getting a salt, that is phenoxide ion. Generally acid treats with base, you will get a salt. Simply this is a sodium phenoxide, of course. Okay, sodium phenoxide. What is the pH value for salt? Salt will exhibit the pH at about 7, in the range of 7, of course in the range of 7. So the pH from 5 to 7, on increasing the pH value, what you are finding? Increasing the lambda max. So simply we are interpreting the statement, that is on increasing the pH, you are finding the increase in lambda max, that is bathochromic shift you are finding. Okay, so this is the observation of the system, that is conversion of phenol to phenoxide will be exhibiting bathochromic shift due to the increase of pH. Now let us see another example. Here I am taking a basic compound aniline, which is a base. When aniline treated with acid, so acid reacts with the base, then there must be the presence of again salt. Okay, that means base can be observe the pH at about almost 11 to 12. Aniline will give the pH at about 11 to 12. Whenever you are converting aniline to this salt form, okay, this salt form which is having the pH at about 7, what you are observing here, from 11 to 7 means pH value decreasing. As the pH decreases, what about the lambda? In the earlier slide, we are given the statement that as the pH increases, lambda max will increases. Here the pH decreasing, as the pH decreasing, that is you will experience the lambda max also decreases, that is you will find hypsochromic shift. The wavelength can be shifted to shorter value side or decrease in the wavelength side. Okay, so on base affecting the acid, you are finding bathochromic shift. On acid affecting the base, you are finding hypsochromic shift. This is the effect of pH on the sample. Okay, now here I am taking another example. Phenolphthalein indicator I am taking. Phenolphthalein indicator is a acid base indicator. Generally it is a colorless one. If this one is treated with a base can abstract the proton because it is showing weakly acidic and weakly basic nature. Due to the abstraction of proton, there must be the extension of conjugation. Okay, so as the conjugation is extending, you will find the increase in lambda max, and also it is acquiring the quinonoid form. As the quinonoid form is acquiring, so that's why it acquires color, that is pink color. Okay, there is a change in pH also. Initially it will be at around 8. The pH of phenolphthalein indicator is at about 8 to 8.5 or 8.2 simply. After the interaction with the base, then you will get the color pink color. Now at that situation the pH must be at about 10. Okay, that means from pH 8 to 10, a pH value is increasing. As the pH value is increasing, the lambda max will also increases. Lambda max will also increases. So that's why you are getting the color. Generally initially it is colorless. After the reaction with the base, you are getting the color. So color imparting means, that means a chromophore which is in combination with oxochrome, resulting in the generation of color. Okay, as a result of increase in the pH. So this is also one of the example to give the explanation of pH increasing, lambda max will also increases. Now effect of sample temperature. When generally UV visible spectroscopy is carried out under the lower temperatures. Okay, at lower temperatures we will get the fine spectrum. Band sharpness increases with decreasing the temperature. Okay, band sharpness, so it will be more fine structure when we are decreasing the temperature, because we are having the energy transitions from E1 to E2 in the case of electronic spectroscopy, that is visible, that is UV visible spectroscopy. Outermost electron will be excited from ground state energy state to excited state, that is excited electronic state. So this is the basic principle. When the electron moves from E1 to E2, there must be overcome of V1 and also R1, that is vibrational level and rotational levels, because in between E1 and E2 we are having vibrational levels as well as rotational levels. That means electron has to cross over the vibrational level as well as rotational level. There is also some changes takes place. Okay, so that's why the spectrum must be broad in the case of UV visible spectroscopy. If at all you are considering the spectra or you are taking the spectra with decreasing temperature, as the temperature decreases, the influence of vibrational and rotational levels must be minimized. Okay, the influence of vibrational and rotational levels on the electron can be minimized at lower temperatures. So that's why the fine spectrum will be exhibited from E1 to E2. There is no influence of vibrational and rotational at the case of decreasing temperature. If suppose temperature increases, on increasing the temperature, the effect of vibrational and rotational may also takes place. So vibrational and rotational can be superimposed on the electronic levels. So you will get the broad spectrum. Okay, so this is about 20 degree centigrade spectrum, and this is at about minus 195 degree centigrade. So it is at high temperature and this is at lower temperature. At lower temperature you are getting the fine spectrum of the compound. At higher temperature you are having broad spectrum. So this is the effect of sample temperature on UV visible spectra. And finally, I would like to give some questions of your understanding. Explain why butadiene exhibits a higher value of lambda max than that of ethylene. So, ethylene and butadiene, just compare these two. Why the lambda max is increases for butadiene compared to ethylene. And the next one is, explain why a polar solvent usually shifts the n to pi to pi star transitions to longer wavelength and n to pi star transition to shorter wavelength. So this is about the factor, one of the factor, effect of polar solvent on carbonyl compounds. So try to work out these questions. Already the answers are explained in the earlier slides. You will get the answers clearly. So this is the workout for you. Thank you. Thanks for giving this opportunity.